De grootste atoombommen ter wereld.
Ever since the first nuclear weapons test in the deserts of New Mexico and the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, nuclear weapons have become significantly more powerful.
Eigenlijk zo bizar dat zeg maar sinds dat ze dat hebben uitgevonden in de Tweede Wereldoorlog, dat totaal anders naar wordt gekeken naar wapens en bommen en zo. Want dit slaat gewoon echt nergens op. Zulke sterke bommen. What? Oh ja, klik even op die abonneerknop. Ik ben momenteel namelijk in Frankrijk, maar ik heb heel veel video's van tevoren voor jullie opgenomen, zodat jullie nooit zonder content zitten. Yo, je weet toch? Dus ik heb momenteel een heel zwaar weekend waarin ik allemaal video's opneem. Maar ik vind het wel leuk.
Since the first test in New Mexico by the United States in 1945, 2,475 nuclear weapons have been detonated across the globe.
What? Wow, hallo. Ik wist niet dat er zoveel bommen waren afgegaan dan alleen al. 2400, dat is echt kapot veel.
Over 85% of those detonations have come from only two countries, however, the United States and the former Soviet Union.
Ja, bizar hè? Dat is echt ziek. Die hebben echt een soort van wedstrijdje gedaan wie de meeste, grootste bommen kon hebben en er vervolgens niks mee doen. Behalve ze te testen.
Only two of those thousands of detonations were ever used in a war, the ones dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Holy. Het is toch bizar dat letterlijk alles wat je ziet op die kaart gewoon weggevaagd is. Gewoon non-existent.
But those bombs were very small compared to modern weaponry. The Hiroshima bomb produced an explosion of 15 kilotons, or 15,000 tons worth of
Waarom gebruikt deze guy altijd die Minecraft dingen?
TNT. The bomb dropped on Nagasaki had an explosion of 21 kilotons, but how much bigger can nuclear weapons possibly get?
Er komt dus een rookwolk vanaf van 10 kilometer hoog. Dat is crazy.
The answer is, terrifyingly, much, much bigger. The largest nuclear weapon currently in the United States arsenal is the B-83, which can produce a blast of 1.2 megatons. To understand the scale from here out, 1 megaton is equal to 1 million tons of TNT, and that is equal to 1,000 kilotons.
Oké. Wat is een ton? 1 ton is 1000 kilogram. Oké. Dus dat is 1000 keer 1 miljoen gram kilo TNT. Dus dat is, even denken, veel.
Remember that the Hiroshima blast was just 15 kilotons, so that means that the B-83 produces a blast 80 times more powerful than that. What I've been showing on this scale is only the size of the mushroom cloud that the bombs produced. So to further add to the scale, we're going to place the size of Mount Everest here and the average altitude of a commercial airliner that you would normally fly on here.
Jesus.
So, the Castle Bravo bomb is the largest nuclear weapon ever tested by the United States. It produced a blast of 15 megatons, or about 1,000 times the scale of Hiroshima.
Hoe kunnen mensen dit ook maken? Ik bedoel, wie kan dit nou maken? Waar slaat het? En waarom wil je dit ook maken? Dit is zo onnodig. Wat moet je ermee?
But even that pales in comparison to the largest nuclear weapon ever detonated. In October 1961, the Soviet Union created the largest man-made explosion ever in human history when they detonated this device, known as the Tsar Bomba, here over this territory known as Novaya Zemlya.
Novaya Zemlya. Jezus, wat de hel? Is het Russisch?
The bomb detonated with an astounding force of 50 megatons, or about 3,333 Hiroshima blasts. It was so powerful that it almost destroyed the plane that dropped it, shattered windows as far away as Norway and Finland, and the shock waves created by the bomb circled around the entire Earth 3 times. But this...
Bruh. Besef, de schokgolf van die bom, die was zo groot dat die om de aarde ging. Woem, nog een keer. Woem, nog een keer. Woem. Echt eng eigenlijk dat mensen het kunnen maken.
Test was actually just a scaled down version of what was theoretically possible. Although never tested, the Soviets did have plans to create a bomb that would be twice as powerful as even the Tsar Bomba, a bomb so powerful that it would have produced a mind-boggling 100 megaton blast, or about 6,666 Hiroshima blasts altogether. To get another sense of scale, let's imagine that Times Square in New York City would be the epicenter of these blasts. You can test this stuff out yourself on the website Nuke Map after watching this video. I'll provide a link for it after. Here's the size of the Hiroshima detonation, which isn't really that much bigger, but let's move on to the B-83 bomb that we were talking about. As you can see, it would affect a much larger area than the Hiroshima bomb. But moving on past that to the Castle Bravo test, we can see how it truly dwarfs everything before it. But even that blast is incredibly tiny when we move on towards the Tsar Bomba as seen here. And then finally for our scale, we move on to how large the blast from the theoretical 100 megaton version of the...
Maar je beseft niet hoe groot dit gebied is, hè? Wacht even hoor. Nuke map. Amsterdam. Oh, hier. Amsterdam, ja. Top. Hoe wist je dat? Oh, ja. Tsar bomba. De 100 megaton Tsar bomba. Detonate. Oh mijn god! Kan je dat beseffen? Dit is lijp, ouwe. Dit is zo... Ja, sorry, ik was even helemaal stil. Dit is zo ziek eigenlijk. What the hell? 1 bom. Alles weg. Nou, even normaal. Dankjewel.
Blast would be so powerful. This is what the blast radius would look like if you were observing it from the International Space Station. So the question then becomes, should any of this really worry you? How many nuclear weapons exist today anyway? Well, in total, there are estimated to be around 15,600 nuclear weapons in the world currently, enough to destroy the entire planet dozens of times over. But only 9 countries control that stockpile, and 92% of those weapons are controlled by only the United States and Russia. The other 8% of the global nuclear arsenal is controlled in descending order of numbers by France, China, the United Kingdom,
waarom heeft Frankrijk er zoveel?
Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. Israel is, however, highly secretive about its nuclear program and has never publicly confirmed nor denied the existence of their nuke.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad.
Of those things where everybody knows that they have them, but nobody really comes out and says so. South Africa used to be in possession of 6 nuclear weapons because the past apartheid regime was afraid of the 79% of the population that couldn't vote and communists trying to overthrow their government, but they eventually agreed to dismantle all of them, which makes South Africa the only country to ever acquire nuclear weapons and then voluntarily get rid of them.
Hey, shout out naar Zuid-Afrika, man.
Well, unless you don't count Ukraine, Belarus, or Kazakhstan, which all had nuclear weapons for a brief amount of time after they declared their independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. Ukraine is particularly awkward because after their independence, they found themselves in possession of over 5,000 nuclear weapons, which would make Ukraine for a brief period the world's 3rd largest nuclear power and probably one of the most powerful countries on Earth as a result. They agreed to hand them all over to Russia in exchange for a super serious promise that nobody would violate their territory or borders in the future, and we all know how that turned out. As a result of that
Dit is best wel relevant nu natuurlijk, met het hele leger van Rusland dat opeens aan de grens bij Oekraïne staat. Laten we hopen dat dat allemaal goed gaat.
It's doubtful that other countries would be thrilled to ever give up their nuclear weapons in the future.
Jeetje, man. Hey, best wel een educatieve video, al zeg ik het zelf. En ook wel interessant, maar ook wel eng tegelijkertijd. Ik heb het gevoel, als er ooit een 3e wereldoorlog komt, dan gaat het niet goed aflopen. Maar goed, wil je nou nog zo'n soort video zien? Klik dan hier. Dan hoef je in ieder geval niet even druk te maken om de potentiële 3e wereldoorlog die eraan komt. Dan kan je gewoon even een video van mij kijken. En we spreken elkaar later. Doei!